All right, welcome to episode 2 of Honestly Speaking. Today we will be talking about social media, the pros and cons. And I want to get into that, because when people use Facebook, right, you can basically create your whole new identity. And then when you meet them, it's something different. And by the way, I got my guy in the chair, Anthony, here with me. He's actually at the table this time instead of at the chair. But anyways, back to social media. And I've noticed, I meet a lot of people and they're nothing like they say they are. You know what I'm saying? Like with me, people saw my page when I first created Facebook, and I would post very honestly, right? And then they was like, you're depressing or whatever, right? Because I was really posting how I felt that day. So I started not doing that. Then they try to say I was like faking. So it's like, okay, what do you want me? You want me to be honest, or do you want me to give you this perception? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people do that. They'll show one side, the good side, right? And they'll be like, oh, I'm happy in my marriage, or I got this five-star hotel, or all this money, a job, blah, blah, but they're not showing anything else. So they have this image, and then when you meet them, or they manipulate you with this image, and when you meet them, it's like, yo, I don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing drugs and this, that, and the other, or whatever, but you ain't showing that. So I just wanted to get your opinion on how people use that to manipulate the world, really, because everybody does it, from kids to celebrities. You know what I'm saying? So how you feel about that?
Yeah, like you said, with social media, a lot of people want to, or they aim to put their best foot forward, because that's what they want the world to see. They want the world to see them in a good light, really. Like you said, it's tough because with the way social media is, it's hard to know somebody based on how they portray themselves off of social media. So I guess that's really why, okay, this is the social media version of you, but I need to get to know you outside of social media, because I can't, even the celebrities, that's what they show us. That's not who they
but you
actually
know that's
are.
not who they are.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you should know that's not who they are.
Right.
Some people don't.
Right.
But I'm gonna use me as an example, right? I met one of my exes on there on Facebook. We talked for months and months and months, video chatted. And even in the video chat, the perception was still there, right? And then we finally met, and it was like a laundry list of things that we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? On my end and hers.
Right.
So it just kind of was weird. That's why, when people ask me about, oh, why don't you set up a dating page or what? I don't believe in that stuff anymore, because I've experienced it, and you can only get one fraction of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't get that in a conversation or over dinner or face-to-face over time. Face-to-face interactions are important. And I think that's what happens in social media. You lose that, right? So you only get this perfect image, because you can say, oh, I want this, this, and this in a person, right? And you find it on social media. And when you meet the actual person, that those boxes that were checked aren't checked no more. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what really has the world messed up, because I've noticed women will get on there and they'll be like, oh, I want this kind of dude. And this dude said this is what he was on his page, right? When you meet him, there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell you about the three baby mamas they got, or how they got laid off from their job on Tuesday, or how they don't really wash their socks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird. The internet space is weird. You know what I'm saying? But there are some positives to it. Like, for me, you can keep in contact with your family that, wherever they're at, out of state, or you can get counseling. You can watch sermons online now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can even watch movies on there. I mean, I watch a lot of movies online. Right. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a way you can save money. You can spend money. You can shop easier.
Right.
Direct to door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's pros and cons. I think the cons are more of a societal thing, but the pros are more of a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? It makes life convenient, but it can also make you a liar without you knowing it. Would you agree or disagree?
Like you said, like it does make life a lot more convenient because, like you said, like things that happen on the other side of the world is more accessible now. Like
Yeah.
it hits our ears a lot quicker than it used to. So, like in a lot of ways, it does make life more convenient. But like you said, with the whole idea of social media is,
Social.
social,
Be
and
social.
it's just like how the news is. Like I know they're not telling us everything that's going on in the world. They're telling us what they want us to hear and how they want us to hear it for excuses
it's
of like
control.
not causing mass panic, whatever. Like
Yeah.
you said, to control. Social media is the exact same way. I'm going to put forward what I want you to hear, what I want you to know, what I want you to see for a certain reason, whether it's for likes, whether it's for, like I said, for people to like me, to
Attention.
gain more attention. Exactly. That's the whole idea of social
I
media.
will
honestly.
say this about social media that I found funny. Soon as you change your life in any kind of way, you're either going to get a good reaction or a bad reaction.
Every time.
Like soon as I got more into my Christian path,
Yeah.
my interactions dropped. You know what I'm saying? When I was not like that and I was posting drama and BS, then it was all my posts was like getting a whole bunch of likes and a whole bunch of comments and people telling me what I need to do and what I should do and what I'm not doing. Soon as I was like, yo, I'm doing this, period, and I'm posting these positive posts in scriptures or whatever scripture I'm reading that happen to be reading that day or come across, now all of a sudden I went from like 50, 60 likes or whatever to 7.
Of course. That's
I
what
I thought that was funny.
That's what the world chases, though. The
Yeah.
drama, the like. If you posted a fight right now, I bet it'd have all the shares, all the likes, all the comments, or whatever, or some girl twerking or something like that. It'd get so much attention. But as soon as you share a post about maybe something like starting a new business or getting saved, well, depending on the post, because sometimes if you post a post about you getting saved or starting a new business.
They'll be like, they'll say, yeah, that's cool.
Congratulations.
But they not going to support it.
Exactly.
You're going to get that congratulations pre-made thing that you can just click on and it'll put it up there.
Yeah.
You'll get that.
Yeah.
And you'll get a whole bunch of likes, but ain't nobody going to ask you about it. Ain't nobody going to say, yo, how's it going? Yo, can I buy something? Or if they do ask you to buy something, they want a discount. And it's like, come on, man.
Because in a lot of cases, people like to see you doing good, but they don't want to see you doing better than them.
That's exactly what it is. If you're doing better than them, they're not with it. They might not tell you that, and they might not show you, but they really don't like it. Well, I'll take that back. If you have a core circle of friends that truly give a crap and care, they gonna support it. They gonna like it when you say, "Yo, man, I just did this or did that." They gonna be like, "Oh, that's dope. I'm gonna do this, and this, and support or whatever." Some of them just gonna be like, "Oh, that's cool," and when they get home, they gonna be like, "Man, that's whack, man. He stole that from me or whatever."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Out of not feeling that. But going into the business thing, I see you designing shirts and all of this. And I bought the shirts. I'm gonna buy that one. But when you tell people that, how much support can you tell in their face if they're really gonna be supportive or are they just saying it?
Like when they actually, like when you see them in person and they just
when you tell them about it and you're like, yo, I'm making these shirts or whatever, this apparel line.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna get one.
Right.
Can you see in their face if they're sincere or not, or do you just kind of
really
with
can't, honestly.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm just gonna roll with it, because like I'm trying to put it out there anyway. So I'm gonna tell this person whether you buy something, it's my job to tell or inform the people about it. Yeah. But a lot of the times you can really tell, like if they're actually going to, like, you can tell in their voice, like it's like a level right above monotone and down where you're like, nah, they ain't gonna buy nothing. Like you can tell, like it's like a genuine reaction, genuine smile, a look in their eyes.
That's so sad though. You would think that your people would support you, because I had this conversation at work, right? Where he was like, man, if you start something, the black people, he said black people specifically will go like say you start this business, right? And a white dude starts the same type of business. The black people will go to the white guy before they go to you. And I thought about that and I was like, you know what? You're right. And I don't understand why it's like that.
I was just about to ask you that. Why do you think it's like that?
Man, you know what? The way black people have morphed, it went from like back in history, from my understanding, from what we've been taught anyway, it went from everybody having their backs and being supportive. But this is when we were segregated, right? Because then when you're segregated, you have to support each other. You have to build this community, start your own business, all black this, all black that, restaurants, laundromats, schools, stores, right? But then when segregation was done with, we're automatically forced in a way to shop white, right? These black businesses are still there, but since the white people or I have to say white, I'm not trying to sound racist, but the white people are already controlling everything. So you're automatically pre-programmed to think that's better.
Because it's been around for longer.
It's been there, it's established, and it's large. You see what I'm saying? It might not be better. You can see the quality of this work, but this is already here. Kind of like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
McDonald's versus Reggie's Burgers or whatever. So we're already pre-programmed to think this is better, even if it's not. And I think that's the problem. Because now, as the world has changed, it's like black is bad in the news, in school, in the world, in music even. We're killing each other. You know what I'm saying? So we're automatically preconditioned to think black is bad in everything. So it's like, oh, you starting this, so is he. I'm going there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Automatic. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Well, most people don't, because I think about it, but most don't.
Right.
Like I could go to work tomorrow and be like, yo, my friend is doing this apparel line. And then Jacob walks in. There's nobody named Jacob, by the way. That's a made up name. Jacob walks in. I got an apparel line. Jacob's white. So you're going to automatically think, oh, he's got a lot of money behind this and he's got connections, this, that, and the other, when he probably don't. But you just automatically think that because that's how the world works. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's why. What do you think?
I mean, I'd have to agree for the most part. Like you said, like it goes back to social media and the news and all that stuff and what's pushed out. A lot of what's pushed out, especially by black people, is how we're killing each other, or, how we're not supporting each other, the drama side of it. Like it's hardly, like you said, in general, if a black person does something good, the social media coverage on it isn't always that high as it would be for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost non-existent unless it's a prominent name.
Right.
Like if Lil Uzi does something for the community, you're not gonna hear about it. But if Denzel Washington does something, it's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because Lil Uzi, they want him to be in this negative box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or Lil Yachty, or I don't know these new guys. That's the last rapper name I heard. So that's what I'm gonna use. He's in this negative box. So if he does anything positive, they're gonna try to keep him in that box. Denzel Washington appeals to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So they're willing to give black people that 20 minutes if it's Denzel, but they won't give it if it's someone else. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a select few in the world. Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Guys like that, but you're not going to hear no, like, Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, or Lil Wayne, all the littles, they're not going to get no love. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. And talking about music, right? You hear certain artists saying all this crazy stuff and you like it and you're singing along to it and the word comes out, right? You get caught slipping. You're like, oh man, but you don't think nothing of it. And then it becomes a part of your regular everyday vocabulary. And even this is a weird situation because it becomes part of your vocabulary, right? And you say these words, but it's not in a hostile way. Is that just as wrong in general? Or do you write off as, oh, it's part of the song?
I think that, like you said, the intent is really what's important, because even with the word hell, if you're referring to the place, nobody will really say anything about that. No. But if you say it like, oh, you know,
what the
like
heck?
it's completely a completely different context, because it's really the intent behind it. I honestly think that's
because I mean, I'm still working on it. I used to have a potty mouth. My mom don't know this.
Now she do.
She do now. I used to like really be overweight. Not around her, obviously. But with the friends I used to have, we was, you know, saying whatever.
Yeah.
And saying all kinds of crazy jokes or whatever. And then when I switched it up, I'm slowly changing my vocabulary and I'm catching myself like saying these words. I don't use them anymore. But at that time, one would slip out or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, you supposed to be a Christian. You can't say that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you right, but are you right? Because the intent wasn't harmful. You know what I'm saying? It was more of an adjective. So it's like if you say the F word or you say freaking or you say the N word or ninjas, substituting words, the intent is still the same. So is it still bad? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a slippery slope.
Man,
think about it.
That's another gray area. We always talk about gray areas.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's tough because, like you said, even if you are replacing it, you're still using it with the same intent as the original word. Yeah, you know, because I'll say ninjas all the time. I say it too. I'll be like,
them ninjas is tripping.
Yeah,
but you might as well say, you know,
you might as well. And then, like, of course, even kids say, dang, heck, all them other ones, you know,
and they're emulating their parents or the adults. They'll say the actual word the first time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny. Yeah, they say it again. Yeah, and it's like, okay, the third time they're like, you're not supposed to say that, right? So now they substituting the word. But the intent is still the same. So are you really teaching them anything?
Nah, I guess not. It's tough because, like, either they're going to hear it from the parents or they're going to hear it from the world. And that's really what's tough about it. Even if the parent themselves doesn't use the terminology, somebody in the world is going to do it.
Their friends' parents might use it.
Their friends.
Their friends in general might use it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that goes into like, I have nephews, right? I have grand nephews. I have a sister, and I'm gonna use my sister. This is a good one. Imagine having a white sister, right? And she's being exposed to everything of culture through you. So whatever I'm doing, she's checking it out.
She's gonna use that as an example.
I'm watching the NBA. I say my favorite player is this person. Now her favorite player is that person. She takes his liking to it and she's like, no, I don't like that person or I like this person. So when it comes to like video games, she playing what I'm playing. Music, she listening to what I'm listening to. And at the time, I wasn't listening to like the best. Well, I won't say that. It was good music. I'm not going to knock anybody for their craft, but the language in it wasn't age appropriate. At the time she was like young. So, and this is the thing I told her, yo, you can't be listening to this, right? It's got bad words in it. You know, doing the big brother thing, telling her why she can't listen to it and all that. So what she would do, I would go to work. She would go in my room and get the CDs, right? And listen to them anyway. But like she would put them back and I wouldn't know. But one time, I don't know, I was there and I was looking for a CD. I was like, man, I know about this CD or whatever. It was actually the Chameleonaire's first album. I remember it. I'm looking for this album. I'm like, man, did somebody steal it? I lost it. So I'm looking all over the house. Something tells me, yo, check Tony's room. That's my sister's name. I go in there. It's under her bed. She was like hiding it from me because she knew she wasn't supposed to be listening to it. And I guess I had got home before she could put it back. So that I didn't even say nothing to her. I just kind of like left. And then like, of course she put it back when I left. And it just made me, now I'm thinking, I'm like, the more you shield someone for something, the more they want to do it. So it's kind of like, should you just kind of monitor what the amount of, or just cut it off? You know, like,
Right. So like I'm not a parent or anything. So this is just based off what I think. Of course, that can change from now until when I am a parent.
yeah,
Because like I said earlier, it's either going to come from you or it's going to come from the world. So the way I see it, I'd rather teach them about it before somebody else teaches them about it, and they teach it to them in a way that I don't want them to, you know.
would you tell them about, like, there's an edited version, or you just let it
As
rock?
in, this is a thing. This exists in the world. And I don't even know if I would edit it. I need you to know that this is a thing. This is wrong, basically. So I want to like,
See, that's where I get conflicted at.
Yeah.
It's for it to be wrong, it's being presented in everything. It's in the music,
yeah,
the TV shows you watching, even the games you play.
Right.
Got the songs in the soundtracks.
Right.
So it's like, if this is wrong, how do you what am I? A kid is not gonna like not watch TV or
Right.
not play video games.
yeah.
That's why I was like, should you just monitor it or let it rock and let them know that they can't just be repeating this stuff?
I mean, that's all you can do, because eventually they're going to get to an age where you can't stop everything they're going to do anyways.
Yeah.
But you also have to teach them, like, just because everybody's doing this one thing don't mean that it's right or that you should do it yourself.
Don't
you know?
don't be a sheep.
Exactly.
Be a leader. Do your thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do is tell them, because eventually they're going to get to a certain age where they're going to do whatever they want to do anyways.
Do what they want to do. I know I was. Like, again, I wasn't like wilding, but like, you know how like when you're a kid, your parents is making you go to Bible study and Sunday school and everything in between. And then I want to say for me, it was junior high, where I finally was like, my mom was like, you can go. I'm not going to make you go no more. It's up to you. And I was like, for real? I ain't going.
Peace.
I'm done. I ain't going to church. None of that. And then, like, what's bad is I could tell the vibes changed once you don't have that message consistently anymore. And like, you could hear it in your head, or you get that guilty conscience, but you're still doing it. And after a while, that feeling goes away or gets suppressed. But then when you become an adult and you see how the world is, and you're like, man, this is, this ain't what's up. And you start going again. And for me, it directly affected me. Like, when I was living in Colorado, when I wasn't going to church, everything was going bad. Like, it was trash. I wasn't getting along with my dad. I had got kicked out the crib a couple of times. All of this stuff was happening, right? As soon as I was like, got back into church, things went back right. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, some people don't believe in that, but for me, I have to believe in it because I've experienced it more than once. You know what I'm saying? And when people are like, oh, that's just fairy tales, or it's not true, it's just a way to control you, I just say, cool. It works for me though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna force it on nobody, but at the same time, they keep asking me, so they must want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So have you ever been in that kind of situation where you could see where when you were doing it, it was good, and where you wasn't, it was bad?
Yeah, because I had a similar situation as you. When I was younger, I was in church all the time.
Yeah.
I even 8th or 9th grade to 12th grade, I went to a Christian private school. So
I ain't never been to the
exactly
the Christian schools.
So in a sense,
I was public.
It was, I hate to use this terminology, but in a sense, it was forced on me. With the private, especially we had a whole Bible class. We had a whole period where it was praise and worship and all of that stuff. It really comes down to a point where once you experience it for yourself, that's the game changer. Like, it can be forced on you. It can be, given to you when you're young all day long. But until you have that experience, until you have that moment, that relationship on your own, that's when when it all changes. Because like I had a point where everybody around me was saved, because you know it's a Christian school, so everybody was saved. So I was like, I told my parents, I want to get baptized. I want to do all this, that, and the other. So you know, I got it done.
Yeah,
but nothing changed. Because I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
I was going to say, were you sincere with it?
Exactly. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. But later in life, it was in college. Because when I went to college, I did not go to church at all. Man. You would think it would be different if I went.
Me neither.
You would think it would be different. But when I went to Conway, so about 3 years, I didn't go to church at all. Even when I came back, I was off and on. And I really didn't get back into church until I met my wife. And that was a struggle, you know.
Was she already in the church?
She was already in the church.
Okay. Yeah.
So like this comes back to like what we've talked about in the past about, you know, one person being in the church and the other person not being in the church. So it was a struggle because she wanted me to go to church. So she would always invite me, but I would come up with excuses.
Yeah, I'm tired. I got a headache.
I'm gonna go over here, you know, this meet, whatever.
I gotta work.
Exactly. And then there was a time where, you know, I ain't really like, it was, like I said, it was just an excuse. And I was just over here hanging out with some friends or something. And she was just like, if you can go hang out with the friends, you can, you know, you can come to church with me or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah, it's an hour. Bro.
So I had a moment to like, this is a full transparency moment. That's what this podcast is about anyways. Yep. I had a moment where I was on my way somewhere, but I ended up in the church parking lot. And I was just there like, what am I doing here? I was on my way somewhere completely different. But I ended up in the church parking lot. Okay. And I walked into the church and sat in the foyer, just sat in the chair. Like, I'm getting a little emotional just thinking about this. I just sat in the chair and I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, what's going on? And I actually was on my way outside back to I wasn't going to go to the car, but I was walking around in the parking lot and I was just like,
it's in your head. You was like what is going on?
Where I was here at one point when I was younger and now I'm here. Like, what is going on? And then my mother-in-law and father-in-law had just shown up. They were running a little bit late and they saw me and they just walked up to me and I just started crying, bro. It was crazy, bro. I had a moment. That was really my breaking point where from that, it wasn't consistent, but it started going uphill.
Yeah,
where I started getting back in church.
See, I had a moment like that when my dad had kicked me out the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I didn't have nowhere to go.
Yeah, yeah.
At this time, I was single, so I couldn't even go to my girlfriend's house and nothing. So I was just out, and I was sleeping in the car. I was driving up the highway of I-25. And no, where was I? I was on Academy. It's a road in Colorado Springs that goes all the way through. It's called Academy.
Yeah.
I was driving up and down Academy, and I went to the mall parking lot, and I sat there, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, somebody needs to give me a sign, right? The next day, like, I slept in the parking lot. The next day, that morning, this lady started tapping on my window, and she was like, are you all right? I saw she was passed out. I thought you had got hit or something, knocked out. Because I was like in the driver's seat and I had just went to sleep. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm good. I got tired and pulled over. And she was like, all right. And she gave me this flyer. It was for church. I didn't go to that church though. But I was like, is this my son?
Right.
And I just threw it in the back seat and I went and got something to eat. And then I went to my dad back home, even though I got kicked out. And my dad was like, I'm finna go to work or whatever. And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, come to the gym and hang out because Heike was still mad at you. That's my stepmom. She was still mad. So he had to talk to her before I could come back. So we at the gym and we playing basketball and all that stuff. And I don't know. I couldn't make no shots. I'm missing free throws. I'm missing layups. I'm talking, I was trash, super duper trash. And I was like, man, is this what happened? Like, I was like, so the Lord just gonna take all my talent away? You know what I'm saying? That's what I said to myself. I was like, so he's just gonna take all my talent away? I need to get myself together. And like right then I had went home. That Sunday we went to church and I felt a whole lot better. And then everything started going uphill. I got a new job. Like everything, it was like a domino effect. I went to church. I got a call back for a job. Played basketball. I think it was that Wednesday. Did good. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't suck no more. So I was like, man, this is what's up. So I just from that point on, I started getting in the routine of trying to read the Bible. But it's hard to read the Bible. The Bible is a very difficult book. You know what I'm saying? It's not like boring, but it's not your typical book. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like in between school and a school book and like a book for entertainment.
Right.
So I had to like break it down into pieces. Like I would read a book like that and I do a couple of chapters. That wasn't working. That's when I came across audiobooks. And then I started doing it that way. And I could actually remember a lot more that way. So I kept doing it. But then I lost my audiobook thing. Like the file got messed up and my Bible got lost. Sure enough, that following birthday, my mom had got me a Bible, a personalized Bible for my birthday. So I still got it.
That's what's up.
So yeah, once all that happened, I was like, I need to get myself together. I started like slowly getting new friends getting new friends and pulling away from the negative one. They're not negative. I don't want to say they're negative because I still talk to them from here and there, but I couldn't just be around them like that no more because nothing positive for me was coming out of it. It was just kind of like an anchor. And like my whole life started to open up, really. Opportunities started happening. I started meeting new people. And then funny enough, Clyde came back. And like so when I started getting back into contact with Clyde. So that's kind of weird now that I think about it. I was like, I never thought about that. But yeah, all that stuff started happening because of me believing again. You know what I'm saying? So I think like for me, when people are like, oh, you can't do this and do that, I feel like you can, but you have to be mindful and put in sincere effort to correct it. Because I don't think nobody's gonna be perfect. Nobody's gonna like never not cuss. You're never not gonna do certain things, but you can try not to. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's where I'm at with as far as being because I got called a hypocrite a couple of times. And I was like, how am I a hypocrite? And they was like, oh, well, you're doing this and your Bible says you can't do that. And I was like, well, actually, it says I can if with this, and this. If you read the whole thing, right? We get into this whole debate and I have to like pull out my phone because I got my the Bible app. And I have to like show them. Right. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Of course you did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I said that to say, when someone questions your Christianity or whatever, how do you handle it? Do you just like, cause me, this is bad. I get a kick out of debating, especially when I know I'm right. You know what I'm saying? If I know I'm right, I'm going to debate you and I'm going to have 1,000 facts to back it up. Yeah. Right. Just so I can make you look bad. Yeah. That's my purpose of it. So I'm working on that because I'm just doing it just to like, be like, I told you, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, so I got to work on that. So when somebody questions me and I'm like, I caught myself one time because the person was like questioning me about the Bible. And I was like, well, no, let me show you this. And I was just going to do it just to like rub it in their face really. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's like that, but I tend to believe this, that, and the other. And I walked away, right? Or any other time, I probably would have pulled it out and been on them and be like, I told you, and you trying to make them look bad. Yeah. So when you get in those situations, how do you do it?
I'm the opposite of you. I don't like to debate. I
love it. I think it's fun.
I do my best to avoid any type of conflict. That's just how I am. Yeah. But when anybody, I try to self-evaluate, like, because I also don't like to just right off the top of the dome, just spit something back out. I want to know for sure that I'm telling you the right thing. Yeah. So more often times than not, what I try to do is say, hey, let me think about this, especially if it's somebody I know, because generally it's going to be somebody I know anyways. Let me think about it. Yeah. Let me research and let me come back at you with what I find out. Because I want to base it on facts. I don't want to just be like, well, you know,
This is what it is.
Exactly. You know, because that's not going to help anybody.
That's why I don't debate unless I got 1,000 things I can. Oh, there's this. Like, you see, it's right here. So, this is the question that I had this conversation with my granny actually, because we was watching wrestling.
Yeah.
I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 5 or 6, right? So every once in a while she watch it too, and some wrestlers came out. It was Roman Reigns and his whole squad called the Bloodline, right? And they got all these tattoos. They got them Samoan tattoos.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know why people put that mess on their skin, and you know how that goes. And I was like, well, Granny, in their culture, that's like a thing. You know what I'm saying? That shows their status in the family and who's doing what. And you get body parts for different stuff, right? That's why you see some of them that'll have like the arm and the chest, and some of them have like their whole lower body done. And she was like, well, that's not, she said something that I was like, well, are you knocking their religion? Or it just confused me. I forgot exactly what she said, but she wasn't feeling the ink. And I was thinking, I was like, so when you come across different religions, how do you navigate through that? Because you don't want to just be like, they're wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I got a couple of Samoan friends. You know what I'm saying? So I like tattoos. I'm a fan of art. Right. So when I see good tattoos, I'm like in awe. Right. So even though some people say you're not supposed to, they're like, oh, well, in the Old Testament and then in the New Testament. So it's like I'm not 100% on that. I don't really know. Right. So it's like a gray line. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, that's dope. You know, I'm trying to see who your artist was and all that stuff. But when you see someone that has a different belief, whether it be Buddhist or Muslim or whatever, how do you navigate through that?
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm trying to learn more about them. I'm trying to learn more about why they believe the way they believe. And because, like, I'm not going to knock your religion because I don't want you to knock mine.
Don't knock mine.
Exactly. So, like,
unless it's Satanism. If it's Satanism, look, man, I'll be like, yo.
Exactly. Because that's
yo, we gonna have some problems. I can't even. I just said that and I didn't want to be lying. So I'm like, I'm cool with your religion unless it's that. Because then we got a real problem. So I'm just saying, unless it's that, we good. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just thought about that. I'm like, hold up. I'll with your religion and all of that, unless it's this. Because this is directly saying that my stuff is trash, really. Exactly. And that's not cool. Yeah. Because I'm not doing that to you. And
exactly.
I've seen this the Satanist Bible. Mm-hmm. And it's I even took it to the point of opening it up and reading a couple of pages. And that's just a no for me. That's a no for me, dog. It was just ridiculous. It was like the Fast and Furious movies. It was just over the top. I just couldn't even wrap my head around it. I was like, this is just not right. Yeah. So unless it's that, we can talk about it. If you on some antichrist Satanism type stuff, we can't talk. And I know that's probably wrong on a whole lot of levels because you're supposed to be able to converse and try to find common ground. But I'm not to that point yet. So if you on that, I can't even talk to you.
Right. Man, I've never actually met one. So I can't even tell you what I would do. Like, I imagine that would be very tough. Because like you said, like I said, I've never met one. So in theory, this is just my theory. In theory, they coming straight for your head. You know, if that's the case, then it's just like, nah, we can't do this. But if it's like, you know, because I know some people that they're not like Satanists, but they're like, I don't even know what it's called. I guess it would be more
like atheist. Non-believers or just
exactly.
Scientology.
Exactly. And then in a lot of cases, they used to be, and then now they are. Something happened, you know?
Yeah, they just blaming God. Like,
exactly.
You can't just directly just say, oh, this is God's fault. You got to like, sometimes you're just making bad decisions. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what people don't get. They're like, oh, well, if Jesus is so perfect and God is this, and you wouldn't have no bad in your life. No, that doesn't work like that. Right. You might be a lower class living person for your whole life. You know what I'm saying? but that don't mean that it's God's fault. I mean,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You might be in that situation. He might be
Right.
testing you for something greater. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm not rich, so F God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
And just because you start believing don't mean everything's going to be
No, you
sunshine and
still
roses.
you still gotta work at
Shoot,
it.
in some cases, it becomes harder.
For me, it became way harder because like everybody that I used to be cool with, now they got something to say. Like, oh, you doing this now, and they like kind of
Yeah.
they ain't even low key hating, they just hating.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't really like respond like I want to no more.
Right.
So I don't know. I just kind of roll with it because I was like, I probably had that coming from all them debates I had. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of take it on the chin. But
Like
still,
you said,
man.
consequences of your actions, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of that's bad decisions. But back to this Satanism thing or Antichrist or atheist, how would you deal with that?
Like I actually had a coworker. I think he was anti, or what is it called? Anti atheist. Yeah. And I mean, we just talked. That's all it was. Is because as long as you not coming for my head or completely denouncing everything that I believe, you know, as long as you willing to have an open discussion, I'm with it. We gonna talk.
Yeah.
Because I want to learn more about what you got going on, what you believe,
Why
and-
you feel this way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to explain why I feel the way. Because like in that discussion, somebody could change, you know, somebody could be swayed.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, you never going to sway me, but you know,
Yeah,
like,
my mind ain't changing.
Exactly. But the discussion is there, you know,
Yeah.
as long as you're open, you know, you never know what could happen.
I saw a video this morning on Instagram, and it was this old lady was suffering from dementia. And this one dude it was like this young dude in the room. I don't know if that was supposed to be her son or what, but he's like rich and his life is glamorous. And he says to her, he was like, I'm paraphrasing, he was like, look at what God's doing to you. All that believing and get you nowhere, right? And she was basically like, God has showed me all of these qualities that she possessed, like compassion and all this stuff, just, you know, because of her situation where he's rich and miserable. She was like in her situation, but she was happy. So that right there is what I'll be saying to people when they're like, oh, well, how come you're not this and that? You don't have this and that if God's so great. And I'm like, because it ain't. That stuff is not meant for everybody at the same time, if at all. I might not never be a multimillionaire in my life because that's not my purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, when people ask me that, I'm just kind of like, because do I even want that? I
Right.
don't. The more I think about it, I think if I was a millionaire or whatever, I wouldn't even be happy because I can do all the stuff I want to do now. I just got to kind of budget. So
Right.
what happens when I can do everything I want to do? The more you do something, the less you appreciate it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I can just go on a shopping spree and then fly around the world 12 times, after that 12th time, what else is there to do? What am I living for now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I've done that. And like, I see a lot of interviews with celebrities and they're like, oh, I did that and I did that, but they don't look happy about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, oh, I just bought this $40 million mansion and it's got 18 rooms and 45 bathrooms or whatever. And they look like they're not feeling it. I was like, I'm thinking to myself,
Right.
that'd be kind of dope. But what I'm gonna do with all them rooms?
Exactly. I mean, shoot, they themselves probably haven't even been to all the rooms.
Yeah, they ain't been to the rooms. Like, look at Rick Ross. He's so bored that he having car shows in his front yard, bro. I saw that on the news. I'm like, this fool having a car show in his front yard because he ain't got nothing else to do with his money. He buying weird stuff. He just buying stuff, trying to make himself happy or maintain this false happiness. And I always thought, because I was asked that one time. Actually, a coworker asked me an interesting question I'm going to ask you. He was like, if you could have $50 million, right? Or your mom was on her deathbed and it'll take $49 million to cure her, 100% guaranteed, you're going to take the 50 mil or the one and save your mom?
Oh, instantly I'm gonna just take the one and
I'll
save
take
my
the
mom.
one.
Like that's not even.
Yeah, that's what I sounds like I'm telling you. But it's shocking that only 4 people, including me, said they would save their mom. And everybody else was like, I'm taking the 50. I was like, for real? I was like, dang. But you know what? The people that said they would say their mom had religious integrity. And the rest of them were kind of like on the fence or not into it at all.
That's crazy. I still think that even people that didn't have religious integrity, if they loved their mom, they would, That's
Well,
what I would
their
think.
excuse was like, "Oh well, she's old. She was about to die anyway." And I'm
no.
like, "Come on, man!
No.
What? This is 100% guaranteed, but you only get $1 million because you got to spend 49 mil to save your
Right.
mom."
Shoot, a lot of people wouldn't even see $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm good. I'll take that million I'll take that million, save my mom, and we're gonna go take a trip somewhere.
Exactly. You know what? That leads me to a Instagram post I saw a while back. It was talking about, hey, if you got $1 million right now, would you be happy?
Nah.
You don't think you'd be happy if you got $1 million? If somebody just gave you $1 million right now?
No, somebody just gave it. I thought she was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I would be happy, but I'm thinking more of, I gotta pay these. I'm paying bills, bro. That's what I'm using.
You talking about like taxes and stuff?
No, just like if somebody gave me $1 million, the first thing I'm not thinking, oh man, I got $1 million. I'm thinking I can knock out all these bills now.
Right.
I'm not even thinking like to be happy.
Being able to knock out those bills.
I mean,
I'll
be happy in that.
Exactly.
I'm not just thinking, I thought you meant happy like, oh, I got $1 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking.
A lot of people, just not you, a lot of people would be like, oh, snap, this is $1 million. Let's go,
Yeah.
A lot of people would. And then the person, he said, okay, I kind of just messed up the quote, but basically what he was saying was, if you had like, you'd be happy to get $1 million, but if you also, let's say you turned that around and said, you know what, I messed up the whole quote. Basically, he was comparing you getting this money to stay alive, or you got the $1 million, and then he was like, what if, or would you trade the $1 million for another day of life? And most people would say yes. Well, then doesn't that make life more valuable than the $1 million?
Oh, if I'm like have a choice to live longer or get $1 billion?
No, it wasn't a choice. He was saying like you'd be happy to get the $1 million because that would change your life.
Yeah, that would change your life.
But you would also trade another day of life or the ability to live longer for the money instead. So that would make living life more valuable than the money.
Yeah.
So like every day you wake up, you should be super excited because you just got something more valuable than exactly. Yeah, that was the quote. I completely jacked it up,
but you ignore that. You saved it. You saved it, man. You saved it. I got the point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? That's crazy. I keep going back to work because this kid Cody is the most annoying person on the planet. He's my guy though. It's my guy. But he know he annoying. I think he do it on purpose sometimes. But he said that. He literally said that. Because I came in to work yesterday. I was dragging. I was all like, it was 7 a.m. We at the meeting, because we have a meeting before every shift. And after the meeting, I go to my machine and start getting my equipment already. He comes over there and he's like, what's going on, Gary? He's all full of energy. And I'm like, what's up, Cody? And he was like, man, you should be happy. And I'm like, he's like, where's your energy at? I was like, bro, it's like 7 a.m. And he was like, but you should be happy that you woke up. And he walks away. That's exactly what he said. You should be happy you woke up. He walks away. And I'm like, you know what? Now I feel bad for being, low energy.
Yeah.
I was still tired though.
Yeah.
But it stuck with me. And the fact that you said that, like literally the next day, it's like, okay. He's on to something. You're still annoying though, Cody. Because I know you're gonna watch this. But yeah, I think we covered all our bases today. We talked about social media and life in general. We got an emotional moment.
Oh man,
more power to you, man. I'm glad that was in there. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Honestly speaking, with me and my guy in the chair. Shout out to Anthony. And Hope you guys get something from this conversation like I did. I learned something new today. I learned a couple of things. And that's what this is all about: learning, growing, expanding. And thank you. And I hope you have a great day, night, morning, or whenever you're watching this. Peace.
Peace.
Let's go. That was a good one.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
I wasn't expecting to talk about that much.